They worked hard their entire lives, only to have everything stolen with one phone call, one email, or one fake investment. Elder fraud is no longer rare, it's an epidemic. From romance scams to fake charities, more seniors are being targeted than ever before. But why now? And how can you protect yourself or someone you love before it's too late? Elder fraud isn't new, but the scale of it today is staggering. What used to be the occasional telemarketing scam has now evolved into a full-blown digital epidemic, with criminals using phones, texts, email, social media, and even fake websites to steal from aging adults. According to the FBI, older Americans lose over $3 billion, 0 cents, every year to financial scams, and that number is likely underreported because many victims are too ashamed or too afraid to come forward. But this issue goes beyond stolen dollars. It's about broken trust, shattered confidence, and the emotional toll that comes when someone realizes they've been tricked. Many victims feel embarrassed, isolated, and betrayed. Some never financially recover. Others never emotionally do. So why are seniors being targeted more than ever? What makes them vulnerable, and how do scammers find them? In this episode of Elderly Truths, we'll break it all down. You'll learn the most common scams, the psychology behind how they work, and, most importantly, how to spot the warning signs before it's too late. Because staying informed is the first step to staying safe. The numbers don't lie. Elder fraud isn't just rising, it's exploding. In just the past few years, the number of fraud reports filed by or on behalf of seniors has more than doubled. According to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, financial losses among Americans over 60 reached $3.4 billion 0 cents in 2023 alone, a staggering increase from previous years. And experts believe those numbers are still just the tip of the iceberg. What's behind this surge? Several powerful forces have converged, and scammers are taking full advantage. First, there's technology. Many older adults have adopted smartphones, tablets, and social media later in life. And while that's a great way to stay connected, it also means they didn't grow up navigating spam emails, pop-up ads, phishing links, or deceptive websites. Scammers know this. They design fake login pages that look exactly like your bank's website. They mimic Amazon, Medicare, or Social Security with alarming accuracy. And for seniors who may not have formal tech training, even a well-meaning click can open the door to identity theft or financial disaster. Then there's social isolation. It's a heartbreaking reality that many seniors live alone, with limited contact from friends or family. Scammers know that too, and they weaponize loneliness. Romance scams in particular prey on older adults looking for connection. They build emotional trust through messages and phone calls, then invent emergencies. I need money to come visit you, or I'm stuck overseas. By the time the truth surfaces, thousands of dollars may be gone and hearts broken. And we can't ignore the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. During lockdowns, more seniors turned to the internet to shop, bank, and communicate. At the same time, scammers ramped up efforts, posing as vaccine coordinators, stimulus check agents, and fake health officials. In many cases, fear and confusion made people more vulnerable than ever. But this isn't just happening in the United States. Elder fraud is a global crisis. In the UK, pension scams have surged. In Australia, seniors report losing millions annually to tech support hoaxes and crypto cons. In Canada, law enforcement has seen a rise in emergency scams, where a scammer pretends to be a grandchild in legal trouble. From Asia to Europe to North America, no country is immune. The tools may differ, but the targets are the same. Older adults with savings, trust, and often little digital literacy. What makes elder fraud so devastating isn't just the money. It's the betrayal. Many seniors pride themselves on being careful, responsible, and independent. So when they fall victim to a scam, they don't just lose funds, they lose confidence. They may stop answering the phone, stop using the internet. Some even withdraw from social life altogether, embarrassed to admit what happened. That shame, that silence, It's exactly what scammers count on. And it's why awareness is so critical. These aren't rare, isolated incidents. This is a growing, coordinated effort to exploit the most trusting, isolated, and financially stable members of our communities. So if you've been thinking, that could never happen to me, or my parents are too smart to fall for that, it's time to look again. Because elder fraud isn't just growing, it's evolving, and the best defense starts with knowing the truth. So why are seniors being targeted so aggressively? It's not a coincidence. It's not random. It's calculated. And sadly, it works. Scammers target older adults because, in many ways, they're the perfect mark. And it starts with trust. Most seniors grew up in a time when a handshake meant something, when you answered your door without fear, when you took people at their word. That trusting nature, rooted in decency and goodwill, is now being exploited. Scammers don't see kindness as a virtue. They see it as a weakness to be manipulated. Add to that a deep sense of politeness. Many seniors were raised not to hang up the phone abruptly, not to question authority, not to be rude, even when something feels off. So when someone calls claiming to be from the IRS or a bank or a police station, they hesitate, they listen, they comply. And the longer they stay on the line, the more information they give away. Then there's digital literacy, or the lack of it. While many older adults are learning to navigate technology, they often aren't as savvy as younger generations. They may not recognize a phishing email. They might click on a pop-up that promises a free prize. They might trust a fake antivirus alert or enter personal info into a fraudulent website that looks legitimate. To a scammer, one wrong click is all it takes. Some seniors also face cognitive challenges, from mild memory issues to more serious conditions like dementia. This can make them even more susceptible to manipulation. They might forget conversations, misplace financial records, or get confused about who they've spoken to. Scammers know this, and they exploit it. But the biggest bait for fraudsters? Money. Older adults often have retirement savings, home equity, or access to fixed incomes. They may not be millionaires, but they have assets. And unlike younger people who are paying off student loans or building wealth, seniors are seen as holding it. That's why financial scams aren't always loud. They're slow, deliberate, and designed to extract every dollar possible, often without anyone noticing until the damage is done. And we can't ignore the role of loneliness, especially when it comes to romance scams. Many older adults live alone. Their spouse has passed. Their children are busy. Days go by with little human contact. So when someone sends a kind message, whether on Facebook, through a dating app, or by email, it feels good. It feels needed. The scammer says all the right things. They share their dreams, their heartbreak, their plans to meet. But just before that visit, a car breaks down, a visa needs to be paid, a medical emergency pops up. Can you help? Just this once. And because that emotional connection feels real, the answer is often yes. Romance scams are among the most financially devastating for seniors, often costing tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. But worse than the money is the emotional fallout. Victims don't just feel violated, they feel foolish, ashamed, heartbroken. This is what scammers count on: kindness, politeness, limited tech experience, emotional vulnerability, and access to money. They use those traits to slip in unnoticed and steal not just finances, but trust and dignity. It's not about intelligence. It's not about gullibility. It's about exploitation. And once you understand how they operate, you can start building the defenses to stop them. Because no one, absolutely no one, deserves to have their generosity turned into a target. Now that we know why scammers target seniors, let's talk about how they do it. These fraudsters are strategic, and the scams they run are surprisingly sophisticated. Here are the 5 most common scams targeting older adults today, and the signs you need to watch for. One of the most dangerous is the impersonation scam. The caller pretends to be someone official, an IRS agent, a Medicare representative, or tech support from a major company like Microsoft or Apple. They sound professional. They know just enough about you to feel real. Then they claim there's a problem with your tax return, your Medicare benefits, or your computer. The fix always involves urgent payment, usually through gift cards, wire transfers, or bank info. One woman in her 70s received a call saying her Social Security number had been compromised. She was told to withdraw all her money and deposit it into a government safe account. It was a lie, but she lost nearly $40,000, 0 cents, before anyone realized what happened. Then there's the romance scam. It starts innocently. A kind message, a flirty comment, maybe even a long-distance friendship. Over weeks or months, the scammer builds trust. They claim to love you, want to visit you, but then something happens. A travel emergency, a medical bill, a frozen bank account. Suddenly they need money, and because the connection feels so genuine, victims send it again and again. One man lost his entire pension to a woman he thought he was going to marry. They never met in person. Prize and lottery scams are another trap. You'll get a letter, email, or call saying you've won a contest or sweepstakes, but there's a catch. You need to pay taxes or fees up front before receiving the prize. There is no prize, just a scammer pocketing your payment. A Florida retiree wired $6,000, 0 cents for processing fees on a fake Jamaican lottery and received nothing in return. Next is investment fraud and fake business opportunities. These scams often come through email or social media, promising huge returns or can't-miss opportunities. They may involve real-sounding companies, websites with fake reviews, or even people you know who've already been tricked and are unknowingly encouraging others. A retired couple invested $50,000, 0 cents, into a fake crypto fund. The website looked real, the reports were convincing, but when they tried to withdraw, everything vanished, along with their savings. And finally, one of the most emotionally manipulative, the family or grandchild scam. This one is terrifying. You get a call from someone pretending to be your grandchild. They sound scared. They've been in an accident, or arrested, or stranded in another country. They beg you not to tell anyone, not their parents, not the police. Then they ask for money. The panic is real. Your instinct to protect kicks in. But it's not your grandchild. It's a stranger using fear to bypass logic. In each of these scams, the pattern is the same: urgency, emotional manipulation, and isolation. The scammer wants you to act fast without thinking or asking others for advice. But once you know the signs, you can interrupt that pattern. You can pause, ask questions, verify, call someone, and most importantly, refuse to be rushed. Because awareness doesn't just protect your wallet, it protects your peace of mind. And it could be the one thing that stops a scam before it starts. With so many scams targeting the elderly and billions of dollars being lost, you might wonder, why aren't more of these crimes being caught? Why aren't more seniors coming forward? The heartbreaking answer is they're often too ashamed to. Many older adults were raised to be self-reliant, to manage their affairs without complaint. So when they fall victim to a scam, the first reaction isn't to tell someone, it's to stay quiet. They feel embarrassed, foolish, even humiliated. They may think, how could I have fallen for this? Or what will my family think? And so the shame becomes a silencer. Some seniors may even blame themselves. They tell no one. They try to fix it privately. They let it go. Meanwhile, the scammer moves on to the next call, the next email, the next victim. But silence isn't the only barrier. In many cases, family members unintentionally miss the signs. They may notice something strange, unusual withdrawals, odd behavior, a reluctance to talk about finances, but they chalk it up to aging or confusion. Or they don't want to believe something bad has happened. Sometimes they ask a question and get a vague answer. I handled it, or it's nothing, don't worry. And because they want to trust their loved one, they drop it. But that moment of hesitation, that missed red flag, can be all it takes for the fraud to go undetected. And then there's the most difficult truth of all. Sometimes the scammer is someone the senior knows. Financial exploitation doesn't always come from strangers. In far too many cases, it comes from family, caregivers, or people in positions of trust. A grandson who starts borrowing small amounts, then never stops. A niece who convinces her aunt to add her name to a bank account. A home health aide who suddenly becomes involved in financial decisions. It often begins with good intentions, or at least the appearance of them. But slowly, lines blur, control shifts, and before long, the older adult has lost access to their own money, sometimes without even realizing it. Because when the person managing your medication, meals, or transportation is also handling your bank account, it becomes nearly impossible to speak up without fear of retaliation. Many seniors stay silent because they're afraid of losing what little support they have left. They're afraid of being placed in a facility, afraid of being abandoned. And in some cases, they genuinely trust the person taking advantage of them. That's what makes this issue so difficult and so tragic. Elder fraud isn't just about stolen money. It's about broken relationships, betrayal from the people who are supposed to care, and a system that too often fails to catch the signs until it's too late. But awareness changes that. When families know what to look for, when caregivers are held accountable, and when communities create safe spaces for seniors to speak freely, these crimes become harder to hide. And while it may be hard to ask the tough questions, doing so could be the very thing that stops the abuse and restores someone's sense of safety and dignity. Because the real crime isn't just the scam, it's when no one notices it happened. The good news is that elder fraud isn't inevitable. With awareness, support, and a few simple habits, so much of it can be prevented. For older adults, the most powerful tool is caution and confidence. If something feels off, it probably is. Never share personal information like your social security number, Medicare ID, or banking details over the phone, in an email, or through a link unless you initiated the contact and verified the recipient. Real government agencies and financial institutions will never call asking for sensitive information out of the blue. If someone says they're from your bank or Medicare, hang up. Then call the official number on your statement or website. Don't use a callback number they give you. Always verify independently. Scammers are counting on you to react quickly and emotionally. But when you pause, even for just a minute, you take back control. Another strong line of defense is keeping an eye on your money. Monitor your bank accounts and credit regularly. Most banks offer mobile alerts for large withdrawals, purchases, or changes to account settings. You can also request a free annual credit report to check for specific activity or unauthorized accounts. These habits don't take long, but they can make all the difference. For family members, staying connected is one of the most important forms of protection. Scammers prey on isolation. When a loved one is regularly supported through calls, visits, video chats, they're far less likely to be lured by the emotional tactics used in romance or emergency scams. If you're helping care for an older relative, offer to assist with tech setups. Help them block unknown callers, set up two-factor authentication on accounts, or install antivirus software. Consider helping them place fraud alerts with the credit bureaus, especially if they've already been targeted. More importantly, have open and ongoing conversations about money. Not just, don't fall for scams, but real, trusting dialogue about online safety, bank habits, and who they should talk to if something feels wrong. Let them know it's safe to admit a mistake, that you won't judge them, that you want to help, not control. When conversations about money become normal, it's easier to spot when something isn't. Even small changes, like checking in weekly or setting up shared access to review monthly statements, can help detect unusual activity early. And remember, scammers are relentless. They try every angle. They sound professional. They move fast. But with a supportive network and a few smart precautions, they become much easier to stop. This isn't just about stopping a scam. It's about protecting dignity, confidence, and peace of mind. It's about making sure our elders feel empowered, not embarrassed, safe, not silenced. And it starts today with a conversation, a check-in, a little extra vigilance. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. Because when seniors and their families work together, scammers don't stand a chance. They spent a lifetime building their security, working hard, saving, doing everything right. We can't let it all disappear in a moment of deception. Elder fraud isn't just about money. It's about trust. It's about safety. It's about dignity. And when that gets stolen, the damage runs deeper than any bank account. For many older adults, being scammed isn't just a financial setback. It's a personal one. They question their judgment, they blame themselves, they lose confidence, and sometimes they shut down altogether. But we have the power to change that story by starting the conversation, by breaking the silence, by staying informed, not just for ourselves, but for the people we love. If you haven't talked to your parents or grandparents about scams, now's the time. Sit down with them, watch this video together, ask if they've ever gotten a strange call or a suspicious email. Let them know that it's okay to be cautious, and more than okay, to ask for help, because this one conversation could save everything. It could prevent a retirement fund from being drained. It could stop a romance scam before it begins. It could catch the warning signs early and protect not just their savings, but their sense of security. And for older adults watching, you don't have to navigate this alone. You deserve to feel safe in your own home, on your own phone, and with your own money. If something feels wrong, speak up. There's no shame in being targeted. The only shame is that so many scammers think they'll get away with it. Fraud doesn't just steal money, it steals trust. But we can protect both together. Thank you for being part of this conversation. Thank you for caring, and thank you for choosing to stand up for those who might not know how to protect themselves. The best defense is awareness. The greatest strength is connection. Let's protect what really matters. If this video opened your eyes or reminded you of someone you care about, don't let it stop here. Share it with a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor, or a friend. Just one conversation could make all the difference. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Elderly Truths for more honest, compassionate stories about aging, protection, and the realities our elders face. Together we can turn awareness into action and make sure that those who spent a lifetime protecting us are now protected by us. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay informed, and as always, take care of one another.